Let me turn this back up. And hopefully the game doesn't just spontaneously combust again. First, more gambling money. Okay. Back to 6 star. Just install.
49276D. 4A6F686E.
Yes. Aloha!
Hi, I'm Sputnik 4.
Ladies and gentlemen.
If I lose this 50-50, I will be burning down an orphanage. Another orphanage. Okay, orphans are safe this time.
Oh, dear stranger, journeying to a pub, and a many days was fast till I see you again. So, this is it? There's really a room for me here? After so long, it's nearly beyond belief that I might have a place of my own now to decorate as I please and share with my friends. A home.
One 50-50. I'm just gonna upgrade her real fast.
I'm so glad we meet again.
There she is.
You said it yourself. This is my room, and I may do with it.
Jaden 2 story once I upgrade her at least a decent bit. So that I can
Party in the
actually
sky
use her.
and on the air. Listen up.
Merci.
I know how to do it.
I did not even do that.
Sending down signals from above.
Should not take very long.
Woohoo!
Bravo.
Take off. Shotgun. That was a flight. This burning thirst.
Probably should have pre-farmed for this, but oh well.
Take thy sword. Duel with someone fair and
By the
square.
way, the ingredient store owner said it was very effective. Please believe me.
The sword is drawn. Fight for the unarmed.
Hey! Leave my ship alone! Unbreakable!
His trumpets sound. The judgment day hath come.
Sending down signals. Bodyguard! This is the gift well prepared for you. That sounds for a new era. I've already said that Sotheby doesn't need a bodyguard.
And second outfit.
I remember those nights when fireworks lit up the night, and people danced under a rain of petals until the breaking dawn.
Okay, that might be a bit too expensive to do right now. You can't just make that though. So I probably shouldn't, because I can just buy those. But whatever. Now to press this button for a little bit. That is unfortunate. Well, I just need 3 more. Can actually just do that. Yeah, that's fine. Then 2 more. Yeah, that's all I can get. Unless I should actually be able to grab 8 from here. And yeah, I'll get to 10. I'm not gonna go farther than 10. And where? There it is. Grade this as much as I can. Which is not a lot. I can just buy. I can just buy 4. It's easy enough. Alright. Still not at Insight 3, but I don't have stuff for that right now. Okay, actual story time. Hopefully this will just take me to the part where it crashed. I don't think it's going to.
Cowards!
Yeah,
Mutineers!
I'm just gonna
Traitors!
skip forward closer to
You've made your choices.
where it crashed.
Now you'll learn the consequences. Zeno never forgives.
Like halfway through the chapter before it crashed.
Attention! Ready! Aim! Fire!
a shame. Secondly, the burden falls on me. She hunted down this.
Emmy, the rest of you. Orders completed.
I'm gonna be clicking for a bit till I catch up.
Well done. There have been too many.
What reason could you have?
Not our men.
So they got what they deserve.
Lieutenant, the apostles have also received
Manus, I'm not in. What I had in it, but Arcane is dead.
There is no room for. You will become used.
Snowy mountains.
That it should never. Our business here is concluded.
Do you really? I'll check on Sotheby.
Dismissed, soldier.
Now, office. Almost there.
There may be a person. It could be this.
Or could she and
And need to
Miss
find
Barbara,
her.
she said the latest piece was sent from
And you are fortunate to have come.
those men you just had.
Yes, she was.
Admiral. Things may become quite complicated during our visit to Sao Paulo.
And this
I
is
wonder
good,
if I might
good enough,
request Uno
the
spare
very
some
least.
manpower to assist us.
Our situation is more dire than expected. I will see what can be done, timekeeper, but no promises.
Yeah, I heard you did that one.
Lieutenant Muldier will provision you with everything you need. And Lopera, she knows São Paulo well. You may take her with you as a guide. Now, timekeeper.
So a little more forward.
As long as it's within my power, Admiral.
I see that you have a
I'll speak with her and see what she thinks.
Thank you. I should return to my work.
I think this is about when it crashed. Okay. I actually just straight up crashed at the end of the chapter. I could have just skipped that. Whatever. It's new. Now it's new time. New stuff. Under the shadow of the colonnade, the orange-haired girl absent-mindedly kicks at the ground, sipping a cold drink. She watches as the beetle scurries across the courtyard, disappearing into a patch of weeds.
What are you doing out here alone?
She dips under the shadow of the colonnade, the sun streaming in behind her. The orange-haired girl raises her hand to block the glaring sunlight as she tries to make out the woman's face.
Molly!
It's her sister, Muldier. They grew up together under the watchful eye of their adoptive father. She tosses her drink aside, her face lighting up like a puppy wagging its tail as she runs towards her sister.
At ease, soldier. You've really been building some strength, haven't you?
She pats her sister's head as she hugs her tightly.
And you are sprouting up like a weed.
And you? Looks like they've been feeding you well.
Returning the favor, she slips her hand under her sister's shirt and pinches her soft belly.
Fera! Stop it!
Just a little prank.
How long will you be staying this time?
Not long. Father plans to leave soon. He was furious when he heard about the defections. He ordered that he be brought here immediately.
As the Admiral's most trusted lieutenant and child, she has accompanied him to the Sao Paulo base.
Perhaps you might leave with us when the new CO arrives.
seems hesitant. Only the Admiral decides who stays and who goes, whether it be her, Lopera, or anyone else.
Really? But I don't know. Things are going well for me here, Molly. I enjoy being near the veterans' residence.
And I'm happy for you. The wisdom of elders is worth its weight in gold.
Oh, come on. You sound just like him. Speaking of him, didn't the old man come with you?
She looks around, but Admiral Igor is nowhere to be seen.
He's still with the timekeeper in his office.
Ah, so you snuck out just to see me? Did you really? You did!
No. I came to, weed. The grounds have gotten so messy since the shutdown.
Weeding, a ridiculous excuse. Who would bother trap eyes through all these desolate courtyards just to pull a few plants?
You're lying. Those ears of yours are scarlet red.
This has always been one of her difficulties. Her face may be steely, but her glowing red ears always give away the truth.
Alright, no more joking. We should get to the meeting room. Our Foundation guests are waiting. I would like to get back before they realize I've slipped away.
All right, but while we go, let me tell you about the prisoner we captured during our raid. And a strange little sheep in the bottle.
Amid the grass, a hummingbird watches the two as they walk away, talking and laughing together. It turns its gaze toward the tower in the south of the base. The room is simple, sturdy, and clean, a military room through and through. Sotheby and Lilia are idly looking around the reception room. Photographs of veterans are proudly hung on the wall. They're arranged in chronological order.
1968.
Soldiers are grim. They avert their eyes from the camera, a hollow look from within them. It's a victory without flowers or honor.
Izmir. I've never heard of it. I wonder if they have any Abang Akas there.
In one of the photographs, soldiers stand in formation under a row of date palms. They gaze off into the glimmering coastline.
1986. Rio de Janeiro. Rio. Hold on. Is that...
Rio de Janeiro. Among the soldiers, she spots a face that is all too familiar.
Mr. Carson?
She jumps up, trying to get a hold of the wooden frame. Scarson's disappeared in storm of 1929.
Oh, you have friends in Rio?
Lilia takes the photograph off the wall.
I can't believe it. That simply must be Mr. Carson.
She would never mistake him. He looks livelier than before, his hair darker and wilder, but his features are unmistakably those of her dear butler.
The storm. I saw him. He dissolved.
Mr. Carson? What? You mean this old geezer in the photo? What are you talking about?
Sotheby nods her head fervently.
Why, this must be Mr. Carson. There's no two men in the world that could look so alike. Could it be a doppelganger? Or an evil twin? But then, surely, Mr. Carson would have mentioned a twin brother. Even an evil one. The nose? And his eyes. Though he's not wearing his glasses. But I know those wrinkles.
Sotheby continues to talk to herself. The man in the photo looks just like Mr. Carson, save for the smile on his face. The stern-old butler would never smile like
I
that.
have to look closer. I must be mistaken. But he is so very like the Carson I remember.
Like a potion in a bottle, 1,001 questions boil up in her mind. She almost presses her nose against the dusty glass of the picture frame as she tries to make out every detail.
Maybe then, Mr. Carson could still be...
The dust has gotten into her nose.
Phew!
Admiral Eager strides into the room.
Where is Lieutenant Muldir?
He looks around. Mulder was supposed to be welcoming their new guests.
Sir, timekeeper.
Lilia immediately straightens up, saluting the Admiral.
Miss Burton, come and look.
Sotherby waves at her, the photographs clutched in her hand.
Mr. Carson could still be alive.
Huh?
Still alive? The Mr. Carson who vanished before their eyes in the storm of 1929.
I guess Sotheby saw someone familiar in one of these veterans' photos. You know this Carson guy?
Look, look!
How could it be? Mr. Carson was erased by the storm of 1929.
He does bear a striking resemblance to Mr. Carson, if my memory serves me right.
Yet here he is, in a photo dated 1986. The Admiral strides over and examines the photo.
Oh, 86. We lost many good soldiers to the Amazon that year. But some battled through, survived. This man is one of the latter. You're saying that you've met this man before?
He looks remarkably similar to a friend of ours who we lost in the storm in 1929. In fact, Admiral, they appear to be nearly identical. It's almost unthinkable.
I must say, Mr. Carson would never dress like that. But I'm certain this is him.
Just looking at him brings back memories of her dear old butler.
That is fascinating.
Do you know if this man is still alive?
I couldn't say. Doubtful he would be in our service anymore. But you may find him at the veterans' residence in São Paulo.
São Paulo, the veterans' residence. Like items washed to the shore, secrets and answers gather there, waiting for the birds to carry them away.
Oi, pessoal!
Thank you for your patience.
The two of them are met with a cold look from the Admiral.
Sir.
Let me just real quick check about how long this is. About 20. Probably like 22, 23.
Lieutenant Muldir, about time. What was it? Did you stop for a picnic?
A scalding comment. Mulder was supposed to be taking care of Miss Sotherby, Seems she has abandoned her duties.
Admiral,
Save your excuses.
Yes, sir.
It was my fault, Admiral. I ran into her on our way here. It's been a while since we last saw each other.
As her father glares at her, she quickly realizes that her attempt to cover over her sister is only making things worse.
Your performance on the training ground early was most impressive, Miss Lepera.
She breaks the awkward silence.
Allow me to introduce my team. This is Miss Sotheby.
Sotheby smiles and curtsies.
And this is Lieutenant Lilia.
She gives a brief salute.
How's it going? I was previously assigned to HQ.
It seems your assignment here has done little for your discipline, Lopera.
The Admiral stands with his hands behind his back. He examines his undisciplined daughter, a grim look on his face.
You have new orders. I'm assigning you to accompany the Timekeeper and her team to Sao Paulo for the duration of their mission.
Lepera nods, but Lilia still has questions.
Lepera? That's a whole lot of firepower. What are we expecting during this mission?
Oh, sorry, Lilia. I haven't had the chance to speak with you privately. The Admiral asked if you could stay on site to help with training their new recruits. What do you think? You can do as you wish.
Training up some new blood, eh? Well, as long as you think you can handle things without me, I can stick around to lend a hand. It will be just like the good old days back at the Academy.
She knows that this isn't a request but an order.
Thank you, Lieutenant.
He nods and smiles and thinks. His smile fades as he turns to his youngest daughter.
As for you, Lopera, please show our guests to their rooms. And try not to overexert yourself.
Orders have been given to everyone present.
Lieutenant Lilia, stay for a moment. Lieutenant Muldir will bring some documents shortly. They should prove useful for your assignment.
Muldir, briefly out of the Admiral's sight, shrugs helplessly as her orders start to pile up. Lilia gives her a knowing smile. It's always like this. It's just part of the job.
Now, I have other business to attend to. If you'll excuse me.
He turns and leaves, his imposing figure. He turns and leaves, his imposing figure soon disappearing from sight. Lopera exhales a long breath, snaps her fingers and smiles as she heads towards the door. She turns to her guests.
Come on, let's go. I'll show you around. But stay close. This base can be a bit of a labyrinth. It's only missing a bloodthirsty minotaur lurking its halls. Well, I haven't seen him yet anyways. The base here has been understaffed for some time. Whole sections are deserted. It can be dangerous. We don't usually allow guests to move about freely. Well, who am I kidding? We don't have any guests in the first place. Who'd come here for a visit? Scenic views of dead gardens and overgrown brush. In the spring, we have vine-tripping competitions. And in the summer, you can be part of our complimentary bug buffet. Even the farmers back home had it better than these.
She leads the way, chewing on a piece of wolf tail's
Before Zeno
grass.
moved in, this was the fort of some Lisbon aristocrat.
The shadows of the old continent are everywhere here. The ghosts of the 18th century still clinging to every mark of the marble columns.
There's only one place fully off limits here. That tower.
He points to a tower in the distance. Styled after cold must be. Architecture stands ominously under the scorching sun, looming over the base with an eerie intensity.
It must be the Minotaur's lair. Or a secret lab for super soldiers.
Sotheby's imagination is running wild again.
Imbued with the strength of an ox, the wits of a man, and the wings and fiery breath of a dragon.
Senora, this is a xenobase, not some chimera's nest. Besides, if there were any monsters in there, I would have heard them by now.
Were those the Admiral's exact words? That nobody is allowed inside the tower?
Yeah, that was what he said. Under no circumstances is anyone to be allowed inside.
Then a quiet peek around would exactly violate the latter of that order.
Miss Vertin, are you thinking what I'm thinking?
Is there treasure inside the tower?
Let me say this again. There are no monsters in that tower. And I am under orders to escort you directly to your rooms.
She blinks. Clearly, curiosity isn't only in the hearts of these new guests.
But if we were to say walk a bit too close and accidentally provoke some nearby creatures...
Mischievous critters often wander in the courtyards, and these ones have appeared just in time.
Oh, how terrible! It seems trouble has found us.
Your every desire is my command. Which of these darlings shall we attend to first?
I don't know what that means. He has to open them. Oh, that is a lot. Is attack.
Perfectly understood.
It's not like this really matters. They're just gonna insta-die.
Or this one. Please,
Actually,
allow
probably not
me.
this
This
chapter.
Grace. Like a metaphor? This book? Or this one? To read. To transcribe.
The ultimate's already there, but I don't know what there's. I should probably look at guides on the characters before I actually bother to play them, but whatever.
Perfectly understood. This book?
Bang, bang. Stay back, my friend.
To read.
me to submit. Oh, just so I have all that, Moxie. Oh, never mind.
Come back. I need your feedback on our session. They gave me quite a start. Thankfully, they were easy to handle.
We can't let them run off. Who knows what damage they could do?
Opera chases after the fleeing critters, which so happens to be the direction of the tower. It's nothing more than a coincidence. A half-hour-long game of tag finally comes to an end.
Now where could they have gone?
She searches for the colorful critters, a serious look on her face. In her concentration, she bumps into a wooden door, flanked by lemon trees.
It may well be possible they fled into the tower.
The door stands at the base of the tower.
Is this the entrance?
Timekeeper!
Clearly, this door is not supposed to be opened.
Mi viejo, the Admiral. He won't be happy with this.
The sight of it is tantalizing, just a touch and it'll swing open, revealing all the mysteries within.
But why? Is there something hidden inside?
Claw marks line the wall, and bloodstains in the door. Rabbit blood, bull blood, unblessed lamb blood. The wind stirs the lemon trees, filling the air with a faint scent of basil.
There's an arcane array on the door. Is it to stop us from entering? Or to keep what's inside from coming out?
The arcane array looks ancient, and it's weakened with time. Traces the marking with her fingertips. The blood fakes off, breaking a small gap in the array.
I have no idea. We're soldiers. We follow orders, no questions. As mi viejo would say. With all the flooding we've had, they probably shoved everything they wanted to keep safe and dry in there.
Lopera.
Maltia rushes from behind, putting a game to their little accidental adventure.
You get lost on your way to the guest room, Spera. You know better than to be here. Your ship will be leaving early tomorrow morning. Please return to your rooms and get some rest. This is a military base, not an amusement park. Please, do not wander about, especially near restricted areas.
My apologies, Lieutenant. Perhaps you could point us in the right direction.
He steals one more look at the tower as he leaves. The fruits on the lemon trees are plump and juicy. They look like beast old blood arrays appear in the beast old. I cannot speak. The old beast blood array appears in the dark sunlight. The wooden door creaks open a little, allowing an insect to fly through the gap.
The seal. It's gone.
Inside the tower, the sole prisoner has been quietly listening to the conversation. There's a ship leaving tomorrow morning. The footsteps trail off. She gently pushes the door. The seal is indeed gone. He's free. Riptide. Then your life is handed over to the river, and you are forced to struggle against the current. A journey always starts with a farewell.
Here, put this on, Pera. It will allow me to track you should anything happen.
She fastens a small button to her sister's collar. Button connects the two of them tightly. With this, they will always be able to find each other, no matter where they are. A kiss on both.
You'll remember to bring father a souvenir this time, yes? And promise me you will be careful. I do not wish for our Pera to buy the farm just yet.
Don't worry about me, Molly. Worry about them. I'll kill them all if I have to. Every last one.
He makes sure to emphasize their totality of their determination.
All right. Enough blabbering. Do you two always share these little heart-to-hearts whenever you leave? I got nothing to say except bye. Or is the tortoise suddenly not so worried about its speed?
The ship signals its imminent departure.
Sotheby, do we have everything?
Naturally. Miss Sotheby is always ready to travel.
The ship is boarding now. After it departs, I will spend some time gathering intel on Mr. Duncan.
Thank you.
We should be able to find them in the flesh once we get to town. Duncan and I go way back. And I'll introduce you to another friend. She lives in a bottle.
I'd be delighted to meet your friends. We should be going now. Lilia, I've told Admiral Eagle that he can rely on you for further assistance as necessary. Is that all right with you?
Yeah, I'll do whatever needs doing. Счастливого пути!
Seeing off their guests, Lieutenant Muldeer returns to the Admiral's office, reporting an incident from the previous night.
Admiral, a prisoner has gone missing from the tower.
She lowers her head as she awkwardly delivers her report.
We'll make sure it's kept under wraps. The seal was broken, and we are still investigating who might have been involved. I did encounter the timekeeper, Miss Sotheby and Lopera, near the tower yesterday. Still, I see no reason to suspect them.
They were the only people she saw near the tower yesterday.
The timekeeper doesn't have any incentive, and Lopera... No, she wouldn't be involved.
But last night, the tower held a single unlucky prisoner, a lamb to the slaughter, a stalk of wheat at bottom. Now she has gotten away.
Find the prisoner, but don't attempt recapture. Let's see who she's been in touch with.
Understood.
Lieutenant, this was a failure that must not be repeated.
He grits his teeth as he stares at the map before him. You know, shouldn't be like this. The ship departs, and before long, a dozen rowboats have surrounded it.
Oh, look at those strange cowboys. What's they doing with those hooks? Are they trying to hitch a ride?
Yes, they will use those hooks to grab onto the side of the ship and moor their boats to ours.
Just as she said, the boats thrown their hooks, latch on the ship, and a number of people clamber aboard. They're traders, hawking homemade trinkets. A pair politely declines them all.
Take this, timekeeper. this? Just a map, in case we get separated.
The map is marked. At least 3 safe routes.
These will show you the way from the harbor to the veterans' residence. Though, it can't show you the safest way. For that, you'll need me. But what am I saying? San Paulo is perfectly safe. That's what the politicians say anyways. Never mind the talk of gangs, cartels, and greedy multinational corporations. Pure slander. Thank you for the warning, and the map. Let's hope I won't find any occasion to use it. I hope so too. Well, we have a long cruise ahead. I'll leave you to your business. At the mice.
She waves goodbye, making her way through the energetic traders into this other side of the deck. Traders scamper around like little mice. They made their cells, they're now scrambling to get a plate of food. Chef.
So the kitchen even prepares food for them.
No line cutting. You boy, back to your place. Queue up, or there will be no dinner for you tonight.
Chef taps his metal spoon, sending the boy back to his place in the queue. The boy sneakily grabs a few flatbed trucks from under his shirt and scurries away. Bumps into Sotheby, crashing into the floor along with his stolen goods.
Hey, out of my way!
He stuffs the bread under his shirt again before running off. As he passes it, Sotheby notices a glint of arcane skill in his eyes. He runs like a child, enchanted by vigor, bolts toward a corner of his cabin.
Miss Vertin, did you notice that boy? Wasn't he awfully strange?
You're right. Come on, let's go see what he's up to.
Woman hides in the shadows. Face is familiar, but an entirely new outfit. And really her, the lady at Tuesday's
It's you.
motel. Bread-stealing child's gone. Bed. Miss Kimberly is curled up at the floor, stuffing bread into her mouth with both hands. Stops and look up, surprise in her eyes.
Oh, Burton! How? What are you doing here? I was about to ask you the very same question.
The farewell at Tuesday's motel. Tuesday's motel last month was exactly pleasant. I look starved now.
Is this a new friend, Vertin? A pleasure to meet you.
Sotheby approaches, but Kimberly looks terrified. He freezes, a sickly lump on her cough drop. A sickly lump of dough dropping from the corner of her mouth.
Please, take this.
He offers her a chocolate bar. After a moment's hesitation, Kimberly swallows and grabs the bar and shoves it into her mouth.
Oh, thank you.
He licks her fingers clean like a ravenous child.
Have you found what you lost since we last met?
Her face falls. Appears not.
Perhaps I could help. Thank you, but I would prefer to do this on my own. I was the one who lost it, and I will be the one to get it back.
Unwilling to cooperate. There's no hostility. A strange and contradictory figure. Arcantus who seems to be on the verge of reforming.
This ship is headed to Sao Paulo. Is that where you're heading as well? Would you like to accompany us? Sao Paulo? I don't...
The ship's only destination. Where else could she go?
There isn't anything for me there. Only a bit of misery and pain.
There's no more dancing, no feasts or banquets, no...
Her eyes dart away. Nothing there.
No. I would rather we simply part ways here, Miss Virgin. Farewell and pleasant journeys. I'm indebted to you for your kindness.
Welcome back to stream. You can edit.
Ah,
You're doing well.
and your friend here. Aren't you just a sweetheart? Oh, I could just gobble you up for tea.
She reaches out and pinches Sotheby's cheek.
Oh, madam, please, you... This simply isn't proper or ladylike.
Kimberly smiles as if she had shed the baggage of their previous encounter and disappears in the crowd. It's an old legend told in the desert peninsula. Encountering a demon is always a sign of the bad things to come. So much more narration in this patch. This chapter. So much more narration. Probably gonna have to break this up into multiple streams. I am not used to talking this much. It is a lot. The wind blows through Lopera's hair. Tourists gather at the ship's edge, seeing the locals in small boats, approaching the cruise ship.
A few treats to buy their worship, and they call it kindness. How undignified to be reduced to begging for scraps like a dog.
The children on the boats wave their hands and shout in an attempt to attract the tourists' attention. And I probably will like tomorrow or something. Honestly, there's like so much narration on this new chapter. I'll probably like tomorrow I'll probably do like first hour this game and then the second hour GD. Purely because I'm not used to talking much. The children on the boats wave their hands and shout in an attempt to attract the tourists' attention. The crew and onboard priests have packed supplies for the tourists to buy and throw to his children, all part of the tour experience.
Dignity doesn't count for much in the face of hunger.
Stranger nods, though he doesn't seem to completely agree. I mean, reading is fine, but like, reading out loud when I'm not used to talking all this much. I've been talking for like a solid hour straight. What's happening in the story? Not a whole lot. We're going to visit a veteran's residence. That's about it. Stranger nods, although he doesn't seem to completely agree.
Yet no man can live by bread alone.
And yet none can live without it.
You're a clever girl, Senora. But I hear from your accent you are no local. So what brings you to San Paulo? Business, ne? I have some business myself in the favelas.
Colombia, senor. And no, only a visit. To the San Paulo Veterans Residence. It's a safe place. If you find yourself in trouble, you should seek it out.
Oh, is it now? Thank you. You're very kind to offer.
Lopera idly tosses a small die up in the air, catches it in her hand. stranger's eyes follow the die as it traces its path.
Care for a game of dice, señorita?
What's the bet?
He glances at the black suitcase by the stranger's feet.
Well, let us bet against the goodness in one another. Let us say that the loser will cover the cost of all the food given to all the little vendedores today. In the winner's name, of course.
A generous gamble for the conscience that knocks on heaven's door.
That's no small wager, senor. Still, I appreciate the good game.
The stranger smiles as she watches little Para drop the die on the table and shake it in the cup.
High-low then. Who goes first?
Ladies first.
Low.
Let's make it more interesting. 6. If it rolls anything else, you win.
Shakes the cup again, the die unevenly trembling around inside.
Do you mind? I lost, just as was meant to be. So then, I am to be the vehicle of grace today. Might I have your name, Senora? So that all may know the name which is to be sung in paradise today.
Carlota Lopez Rivera. But it is Lopera should you ask after me.
Lopera of Sao Paulo. The stranger picks up the dice. You notice something in its eye and cracks a smile. He places it in Lopera's.
That's an interesting die you have there.
It was only luck.
What's going on?
Do as I say, all of you!
Look, Vertin. There are some more river cowboys over there.
I'm afraid they seem more like river pirates. Stay back, Sotheby. What do you want?
Where's the captain? We're changing destinations. The ship will be docking in the favela now. Or we'll blow it all to bits.
He flicks the lighter and lights the fuse explosive. He's panic. Clearly, he's afraid.
Get out of the way!
Lopera has already drawn her guns. Brad is panicking. Can't get a clear shot.
Hold your fire, Lopera. There are oil drums on board.
Lopera notices the oil drum stacked behind the crowd. A single mistake could turn the whole ship into tomorrow's headline.
Ugh, slimy rats.
The host's gun charges forward with a flare of bare fists.
I'll do my best.
Honestly, a lot of the narration in this chapter feels a little unnecessary.
For me, master. I look forward to punishing you. Understood.
A simple arcane trick.
Feel this dark and great.
Turns grey. I will be watching you.
Off my head.
Or oh please, I know how to use it.
Quick to read. Didn't see that coming, did you?
A simple arcane trick. Or this one.
useful.
Hold on. Psychiatrist at work.
Time to turn the page. To transcribe.
Is that really the best you have to offer? Oh, please. I know how to use it. Stay back, I say. I will be watching you. Is that really the best you have to offer?
Most of the game watching a movie because of the visual novel. Tends to be how visual novels work.
Finally, it's just you and me, Master. Do 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 do.
Para grapples with a thug before wrestling him to the ground and punching him repeatedly in the nose. Tears the explosives off the pirate body, but for a moment, the thug managed to pull one of her guns from its holster. Fight halts. Thug's trembling hand pointing the gun at Lopera. The oil drum just steps away.
Either we go to the favela or to the bottom of the river. Claro? Make your call.
The favela? Are you with the Apostles' Brotherhood?
Huh?
They forced you into doing this, didn't they? Hijack the ship and bring it to us. Is that right? Too bad for you. This ship won't be making any unplanned detours today.
His eyes widen as he freezes his place, only his legs trembling. Lopera hit the mark. The thug's reaction is extreme. His finger tightens on the trigger as his teeth clatter nervously.
Estúpidos! Get down!
The bullet flies past her shoulder, piercing an oil drum behind her.
Blazebusters?
A blinding flash of light and a wave of heat hit them as the ship is quickly. The ship lurches violently, a blast tears through the vessel, and water starts flooding into the hull.
Oh my god!
Lifeboats! Get to the lifeboats now!
God help us! This is hell!
Panic breaks out as the ship starts to split in half. More explosions follow. No sign of Miss Kimberly.
Hold the railings! Stay on the deck!
Lopera shouts from the water as she clings to a piece of floating wood. She gasps for air as she bobs up and down in the river, in the water. Chairs, benches, and sailing gear disappears as the ship sinks farther and further into the river. Sotheby clutches the guardrail tightly, but the ship is almost vertical and fast.
Let go, Sotheby! You need to jump now! Join Lopera!
Screams fill the air as the tourists cling on for dear life, watching their friends and family hurtle towards the river. Like overripe oranges, one by one, they lose their grip and plunge into the depths. Flames lick the guardrails, melting the ship's cheap materials. The explosions ring in ears. Sotheby closes her eyes and flings herself towards Lopera. Lucky for her, Lopera grabs her hand and quickly pulls onto the wooden blade.
Somebody, please get her! She's
Still on the ship. One of the final explosions, the ship is obliterated entirely. The river swallows everything. Sunlight ripples the surface farther and farther away. Whose hand is that?
Can't have you dying here. Why do we keep meeting in these awkward situations? Consider my debt paid.
Yeah, a lot of like narration in this chapter feels unnecessary. Like Fern will say a thing and then we'll get 2 sentences explaining that thing, and then Opera will also say that thing.
So, things went sideways. That's what happens when you put guns in the hands of amateurs. But you handled the water better this time. You controlled your breathing, kept your airways clear, and this time, you remembered to lie back and float. Does it matter? I'm all you've got. We're at war. Bullets flying, wounds festering, typhoid, cholera, and all the worst of it. It's a living hell, and only fools think there's any honor in it. You never expect to see a familiar face again. Not in times like these. Now I need you to listen. There's something you should know. The raid on the river was a ploy, and its mastermind is an old acquaintance. As for the ones who carried it out, you already heard about them this morning. They promised their followers they'd push south, and they did. With their supplies secured by a mysterious third party, they paraded through every town along the way, playing as liberators and taking out anyone they decided were their enemies. They swelled in numbers, larger than any local gang or cult had ever gotten before. Now they swarm across the land like a school of red-bellied piranhas, always hungry, ready to tear apart anything that crosses their path. Chances are they're doing fine, just like you. Would have been nice if you caught what that little executioner and that gold-hearted gambler were talking about during their dice game. Guess you'll have to ask her later. Listen, I'm not here to run your errands or play your messenger boy, so ask nicely. There's nothing more I need to tell you, for now.
Ender Pretender. While the stage shows the character in the script, it never truly reveals the person behind the role.
The Brotherhood just took a beating from Zeno. If they're caught up with their own trouble, then we might have a golden opportunity to turn the people against them. We can't lose anyone else to their lies.
The old man next to him casts his fishing line. The bobber floats quietly on the river's surface. Across the river, a water anaconda eyes 2 men beneath the shadow of a snakewood tree.
What do you say? Want to talk about plans?
The old man doesn't speak. Instead, he removes his sunglasses and pushes a cup towards his friend.
Here, drink up.
Thanks. Listen, as much as I enjoy being out here all day, we've got to take action now. The sooner the better, don't you think?
The young man takes the glass and downs it in one gulp as his friend suggested.
Hold your horses, young Galeno. Let me explain. Say I throw a punch at you now. Really hit you good. What next? Maybe you'll storm off at first. Then you round up your cousins. Maybe grab that Tommy gun you borrowed from Colonel Tiargo. Then you'll find me, all alone, and say, "You're done, you old fart!"
Homework? I mean, I can probably do both. And homework should take priority, but I usually listen to things. Or I usually have something on my second monitor to listen to. Old man laughs, mimicking shooting with his hands.
I'm not gonna harm you, kid. And if ever I do, remember that old Duncan must have his reasons. And he'd never harm a friend intentionally.
What is all that supposed to mean?
I'm rambling. I mean, true enough that Lopera hit them hard, and we both know that the Brotherhood will aim to settle that score. And they won't wait long. But if we don't play this smart, it'll only cause them to lash out more. Still, we do have to consider one thing. Those who chose to follow them never come back.
No. They don't.
So, let's seize the day. Grab opportunity by the horns, and maybe we stop losing more of our friends to those bastards. Right now, seems to me that Zeno is our best bet.
The young man considers this proposition.
That just might work, old man. With the Brotherhood falling apart, Zeno will start to look pretty good to folks here.
Ah, but not so fast, kid. We need a little patience. Let the line out a little first. If you fail to prepare, you're prepared to fail.
The barber twitches.
Got it! Excellent!
The old man jumps to his feet, reeling his fishing rod and fighting the unseen enemy in the water.
Don't think you can get away from me!
The fishing line plunges down into the river, the rod bending into a crescent.
You like to wrestle, huh? All right, let's see who gets the upper hand. Old Duncan is not about to lose a battle to a fish!
The giant pufferfish, pufffish, larger than any he's seen before.
Osa! Do you see the size of its belly? It's huge!
What looks like a large green cake is floating inside its translucent belly.
What a deal! Catch one, get one free. How generous, Mother River. All right, jokes aside, Galeno. Come on, help me get her out.
Duncan pulls out a knife and slices open the fish's belly. This catch bursts like a balloon, releasing air, water, and
This is
girl.
going to be the strangest thing you've ever fished out from the river.
Another castaway floats downstream.
Duncan! Duncan!
Across the river, the water anaconda locks onto its target, slipping into the water and swimming
Duncan,
towards her.
Look! She's got an anaconda chasing after her!
Gotta be a really big fish. The water anaconda zigzags towards its prey.
I saw it. Don't you worry.
Old Duncan sets the stoked girl down before lifting a blowpipe and aiming at the old snake. Dark strikes, quietly draining the Anaconda of its sinks to the riverbed like a coil of
Hang
old
in there,
rope.
Lopera! Come this way, we'll get you! Here, take it!
He grabs a nearby vine and throws it into the water. Lopera grabs it and pulls herself towards the shore.
Thank goodness you were here to grab me.
She clambers onto the shore, shakes the water from her hair, and sits leaning back on her hands, breathing heavily.
But what are you doing all the way out here?
I was wondering the same thing about you, girl. Seems like a strange place for a swim. I suppose you wouldn't know anything about the girl we just fished out over there.
He points to the little girl who rolled out of the fish's belly.
Sotheby!
She's still breathing. The air trapped in the fish's belly must have saved her life. Lopera crawls over to Max her back. Fingers spit out the water in her lungs.
Hey, can you hear me?
Easy now, Lopera. We just cut her out of that fish's belly.
It's one really big fish. She coughs out the water in her lungs as she regains consciousness.
You're a veritable Jonah, aren't you?
A familiar face appears in her blurred vision.
I dreamt of a very, very big fish.
Who would have thought?
And I was in its belly. It was as wide as the sky. I couldn't breathe. A terribly strange dream, Mr. Carson.
She's awake!
Mr. Carson?
This is him. The man from the photograph is standing before her. He freezes.
You... How?
The water slowly clears from her vision. The face before her is both familiar and strange. He knows that, yet she doesn't.
There's a little dirt on me. Here, and on the collar too. Oh goodness. Why am I here? What?
Mr. Carson kneels beside her. He's wearing some very old clothes.
Could it really be you, Mr. Carson?
Carson? You must be mistaken, little lady. My name is Duncan. I'm a friend of Lopera.
That's right. Sotheby, this is Duncan from the Veterans Residence. We've known each other for a long time. You must be confusing him with someone else.
Now, up on your feet, little lady.
He takes her arm and pulls her out of the mud.
Mr. Carson! Oh, sorry. It's just... I didn't expect you to suddenly pull my arm.
Pardon me, little lady. We tend to be very straightforward here in the favela.
It's quite alright. Only... No, I just don't understand. You look exactly like Mr. Carson. How could you be anyone else? Except for your attire. And those shoes.
Butler would never dress like this. Sockless with patched up clothing. You notice the liquid swirling in her cup.
Liquor?
No, her butler would never drink from the lady of the house. But besides, take a bold guess. Jumps up nervously and grabs Mr. Duncan's shirt.
Oh, pardon me, little miss. Are you not comfortable with us drinking? Galeno, put the cup away for me, please.
And... Mr. Carson, it truly seems as though you've forgotten everything. Oh, but I'm being terribly unladylike.
She rambles incoherently. Behavior is totally against the lady's code of conduct. Mr. Carson remained utterly unfazed.
Still, you don't seem to mind at all.
Growing increasingly confused, Sotheby lowers her head, still clutching the hem of Mr. Carson's shirt.
I must be a dead ringer for this guy to have gotten you all flustered, little miss. Seems like you cared very deeply for this, Mr. Carson.
Yes, I did. So then, you really aren't him.
True.
Sorry to disappoint, little lady, but I'm flattered by the resemblance. Maybe I can be your friend too. In fact, feel free to call me Carson. Why not? A rose by any other name, eh?
The old man hooks his pinky with Sotheby's and presses his thumb firmly against hers.
Mr. Carson.
I know how hard it can be. I lost my wife, and my comrade in arms. I even managed to lose his daughter, after I promised to take care of her. She'd have been just about your age. I'm rambling again. I suppose what I'm saying is, I know what it feels like to lose someone you love.
She looks lost, unsure of what to think. Still holds onto the man and seemingly making a small promise with him. Looking around, Sotheby realizes someone important missing.
Oh no. But what about Miss Burton? We've lost her. Where could she be now? We must find her.
Slow down. We need to think things through first. Those knuckleheads blew up the entire ship. Which means our comms belong to the Caymans now.
Everything's in disarray. There's no way to contact the timekeeper. I don't even know if she's alive.
Not to worry. I've been through worse. Back in '82 on the Rio Negro... Before I go rambling on again, let's head back to the city. Come on now. Trust good old Duncan. Sorry, I mean Carson. Trust Carson to lead the way.
Just not even gonna try to look for Verton. Hear them say the N-word? No. It's the name of a river. Well, I think it's a river. Or it's someplace. False accusation. As well. A man in black lifts a fallen statue.
I've never wanted to put San Paulo through this chaos.
Shields the faint flame in his hand, reigniting the candles one by one.
Order, peace, unity. Those are my purposes. Much has been wagered here, Marcando. Much. Now it has been lost.
Your Reverence, it was Zeno. Those animals. We'll make them pay for what they did. Is that why you've decided to grace us with your presence, Your Reverence? There is a lot to do if we're going to recover the ground I've lost, Your Reverence. And there's something more. A new doctor down at the veterans' residence. Some blind woman. I would not bother you with it, Lord Santos. Except that she's been helping people in the favela, and it is swaying them towards Zeno.
Then this doctor is with Zeno.
She must be. She's always at the veterans' residence. Spends most of the day with those old war dogs.
His expression is tense as he mops the sweat from his...
A doctor gaining the trust of the people in the favela. She'd make quite the prize, wouldn't you say, Marcando? A much more valuable bargaining chip to Zeno than a few deserters.
Ando understands perfectly. Sao Paulo, kidnappings are as common as bread.
You will see this task through, Marcando. But before that, we need to pay a visit to the favela. I've brought us some new blood.
See? Just like this. Wrap the wire around it. Better do it twice. And align the red and black. Slowly.
He delicately connects the copper wires, and the current buzzes to life.
Unbelievable!
It's science, kids. Nothing unbelievable about it.
All fixed. Hands the communicator back to Lopera.
I don't know how to thank you, Duncan.
He straightens the antenna, adjusts the channel, and hurriedly contacts the base to report the situation.
Admiral, Lopera just called in.
Put her through.
Lopera, it's me. What happened?
Our ship was sunk. Miss Sotheby and I washed ashore near the favelas. As for the timekeeper, she went overboard. We lost sight of her in the commotion. Her current status is unknown.
The Admiral remains expressionless, raises a finger, signaling Mulder to inquire further.
We'll send people to find her and escort her to the veterans' residence.
Additionally, Lieutenant, I have some fresh recruits eager to enroll with Zeno. But they will need the Admiral's assurances that their families will be under our protection.
Mulder looks at the Admiral. He nods in agreement.
They have it. What's their ETA?
They'll leave at once.
Hera.
That little hothead.
Sir, your orders.
Leave the matter to me, Mulder. I will send someone to take care of this.
Mulder falls silent as she looks at her aging father, concern in her eyes. Silence cannot speak. Silence spreads between father and daughter as the Admiral focuses on the dice in his hand.
What did the Admiral say?
He agreed.
Did you hear that? Zeno will protect us!
Good news indeed. The young man claps his hands in excitement. Just as the celebration starts, it is cut abruptly short.
I have no doubt. They were working for the Brotherhood.
The Apostles' Brotherhood. They've bounced back quicker than I'd hoped. Still, we need to be cautious. Figure out just what they're after.
That guy looks familiar.
Strangers she met on the ship, walking among the Brotherhood.
That's him! He was on the ship with me.
He walks towards the crowd, handing out food and other useful items to those he passes.
The Brotherhood has experienced a setback, yes, as all great causes do. But we will rise again, for we serve the one true purpose. Hear me now, brothers and sisters, fellow Arcanists. Our days of anguish and deprivation are over. The sufferer will walk among us once more, and we will bask in their divine grace. The day of triumph draws near. Soon our wagers will pay off. All will reap what we have sown. You only need stand with us and take their blessings. In return for this, they ask only for your unwavering allegiance.
He pulls paper bills from his suitcase and throws them into the crowd. Yet the crowd remains still in their confusion.
My brothers and sisters, speak. What do you seek?
No one answers him.
Senor, please. We only want to see our family again. Since they've joined the Brotherhood, we've had no word. We haven't seen or heard from them at all.
Nothing is more important than family.
But you will see them again soon. I tell you that they are even now faithfully serving our kind in a new land of prosperity. They're in Ushuaia, in Antarctica, in all places where the past and the future converge. There will be no more poverty, no more hatred, no more chaos. We shall reclaim what's rightfully ours. Remember this. Humans are vile and sinful creatures. They tortured our men and women, leaving our children to cry in hunger and desperation. But they've already played their hand. All their reason, their science, and their despicable organizations. They raise these rotten edifices to weaken us and leech off of our misfortunes, to blind us from our true purpose. But no longer. Soon their games will be over, and every injustice and oppression they've held over our people will be returned tenfold. All that they've built will crumble down over their heads.
But whispers in hushed tones, afraid to speak any louder. Hiding nearby, Duncan quietly leans over to Lopera and whispers a few words before handing her a rabbit patch.
Tell me, my fellow brothers and sisters, what is evil?
No one answers. The murmurs of the crowd quickly fades, creating a heady silence. A few crows fly low overhead.
Evil is the absence of good. And to find what is good is to follow our path. The High One has promised us strength and glory.
Two followers carry a box, putting a sinister aura over to him. He opens it, revealing the blessings of the sufferer for all to see.
Come with me.
He throws open his arms as he calls out once more, taking a step back in humble reverence of his glory. That nightmare back in 1929. Disaster struck because of people who wore these masks. Memory is still vivid in Sotheby's mind.
Sorrow will weaken you, and fear may seize your hearts. Instead, let faith be your guide. Those who take that leap shall find themselves lifted up on the apostles' wings, while those who hesitate will be scorched by the fires at their feet. I have said all that must be said. We'll meet again here in 3 days' time.
He leaves them with a gracious and generous deadline.
Don't listen to him! He's a lunatic!
Little lady bravely steps forward, fervently warning the crowd.
And just who are you?
Marcando.
Rose quickly stops his subordinate.
As students of the truth, we have been granted a much stronger weapon than violence.
Lopera, follow my lead.
He stands beside Sotheby, taking her hand in his.
Sir, please forgive her. She has mistaken you for those pirates on the Tiete River.
So just a misunderstanding then? I'm no lunatic after all?
Yes, Your Reverence. She came across a terrible raid on her way here, you see. The poor girl was left terrified.
Well, I'll need more than a few words to convince my friends we have not been insulted.
Loyalty without tribute cannot be trusted.
I'm an old man with nothing to give you but the truth. Believe me, sir, I came all this way just for you. I want to join the Brotherhood.
His words surprise everyone. Those who know Duncan are shocked, and those who don't are confused.
She didn't mean to offend any of the gentlemen here. Please, sir, she's only a kid.
Of course. I try never to take offense at a sweet young lady. However, if I'm to believe you, I will need you to up your ante to prove you are worthy, sir.
The old man kneels, just as he did when he played the role of Carson for Sotheby.
If that's what you need, Lord, allow me to sweeten the deal. See that guy over there? His name is Galeno. He's been recruiting for Zeno. He told me so himself.
He turns and points at Galeno in the crowd.
Duncan?
Bring the young man closer, Marcando.
Are you out of your mind? Don't touch me!
He tries to flee, but the thugs rush at his command.
I'll do my best.
I'm just gonna auto this.
Perfectly understood.
Would you care to lie down?
Like a metaphor. You have a little faith in me,
In
Master.
fairly long chapters.
Careful with the painting.
Off my nail!
This
Oh, please. I know how to use it.
Please, it's great.
A simple word.
Oh,
Please.
one.
I know how to use it. Oh, don't stare at it for too long.
Okay, come space. This board, this one. Ew, it's dark and great. It turns gray. I can't
When I can just blatantly ignore the mechanics of the fight.
Would you care to lie down? Like a metaphor?
Then my homework nice.
And off my And now it's easier to understand. Sweet dreams. Finally, it's just you and me, Master.
Yes, the battle. A pair grabs Sotheby and they hop into a small wooden boat.
Let's go.
Surrounded, Galeno finally stops the struggle when a knife is pressed to his throat.
I admire your courage, but bravery alone won't protect you from harm. Tell me, son, is what he said the truth of it?
He turns his head, refusing to respond.
Now, you'll give me the names of Zeno's new recruits. Who are they?
Drop of blood falls from Galileo's neck. Galeno's neck as the cold blade of the knife presses into his skin.
Everyone! Every man and woman in this city that still has a shred of integrity!
Duncan punches Galeno square in the face, sending him reeling.
I'm not gonna harm you, kid. And if ever I do, remember that old Duncan must have his reasons, and he'd never harm a friend intentionally.
Galeno looks at him, the same old look in his face, determined, brave, and resolute.
This young man has one day to think it through. He will give us his names.
Welcome to stream, Nick. Hope you're doing well. Sheaves this knife and hands over Galeno to his new companion.
Or he will give us his eyes and tongue as offerings. Mr. Duncan, let this task be set on you. Prove yourself worthy of our trust.
It will be my honor, your reverence.
Marcando, you'll stay with them. Don't forget what I told you earlier.
Oh, that's not great. Remember to rest.
This place was once known for its inexhaustible mines, the riches of its rainforests, and its brave and passionate people. But now, the first two are gone. Chaos and power struggles loom over the younger generation, while the rich and well-connected sit atop their piles of corpses and rubble and feast, dining off golden plates with silver spoons, turning their noses up from the dogs at their feet. But that gold has lost its shine, and their silver spoons have tarnished. Everyone can see them for what they really are. So, what now? Either the people save themselves, or turn their fate over to the hands of the so-called savior. What would you do, if it were you?
Save myself first.
That's a smart choice. Now that the carnival's over, people have to deal with more than just their hangovers. They must figure out how to save their own skins. Most, though, will just run around like chickens with their heads cut off, begging for their pain to be taken away. But all they'll get is another morphine shot. Nothing close to a real solution. Fear spreads like a disease, until an entire generation is out on the streets. hoping to find anything that will lift them out of their misery.
You're going to be alright.
No need to start panicking just yet. Things are still under control. Your lady friend has stepped up to solve this mess, and the veteran knows what he's doing. This city is unlike any you've seen before. You must learn its secrets to survive. Remember which street kids are from which alley, and what intel they can be relied on for. Learn the dates when the dealers bring their medicine into port, and figure out which water tanks hide the key to the local gang's safe house. Don't look at me for answers. It's none of my business.
Okay. Probably have this one be the last one. Only have like 10 minutes left. 9 minutes left. Those are a lot longer than I was expecting. Life and death in Sao Paulo. The friend from afar.
In the narrow streets, violence is so often more than just a means to ending conflicts. It is a tool, and one all too readily used. I must note, however, with some relief that segregation so commonly observed in other regions is absent here. The arcanists of Sao Paulo live alongside humans, with the latter often displaying traits more common to their arcanist neighbors. Passionate, if a bit touchy.
Yes.
Life here is incomparable to the comfort, security, and freedom of New England. Hardship, violence, and oppression are the fundamentals of life. As constant as the sun, and as heavy as the rain. This country is renowned for its coffee and sugar. It is a land of beauty and bounty. Treasures too often extorted, whether by the princes of Europe and their donatarios, or now by the bankers and corporations. Despite all the centuries of treasures extracted from the land, desperation remains everywhere you look. It is a place where insurmountable wealth and the deepest deprivations are neighbors. Sometimes they lie only a street across from one another. The multinationals have cut open the country's throat, and now they drink it dry, leaving the people struggling with poverty and chaos. It is a bleak existence. Dear readers, I share this with you so the story of these people might be heard.
Doctors by the riverside. A small group of children gather around her. They watch in awe as the typewriter hammers the letter.
Shippy, do you know, has life always been like this here?
If you ask me, Doc, San Paulo in 1990 isn't much different from Nassau's 1681.
It's a shame. Between the sunshine and warm sands, there is a good life to be lived here, if only they were free enough to live it.
Summer is long, just like the suffering of these people.
I used to dream of traveling to all sorts of fascinating places. A foggy city by the Thames, and a little town blanketed in snow and sunflowers. I met so many different people, though I find I can no longer recall their voices. I have only their words left, only my records of them.
Have you heard of a weed down at the bottom of Lake Ilapongo? The people there turn it into a polenta with cornmeal. Supposedly, if you have it, you'd recall every last thing that's ever happened to you. Every bit of it.
Wow! What's the weed called?
Children turned to the ship in the bottle, their eyes filled with curiosity.
They call it La Hierba del Tonto, Spanish for the fool's weed. You see, lad, only a fool would want to remember everything. Sometimes a little forgetfulness is a blessing in disguise.
I beg to differ, Shippy. To forget the past, its lessons in pain and joy alike, that isn't a blessing. It's oblivion. But let's not argue over some mythical weed. For all the claims, no one has ever seen it. Just another myth, like the succubus or the minotaur.
Aye, let's talk about succubi instead. That's sure to get the lads pricking up their ears.
The mention of this, the little ship goes off again.
Back in 88, I mean 1688 of course, our chief mate Mr. Morgan had an encounter with a succubus after he found her seal while carousing in Portobello. If the rumors tell true, once he got a hold of it, she grabbed a hold on him too. I couldn't say what transpired, but we never saw hide nor hair of him again.
No one can debunk her stories. No one really believes them either. Children's curiosity fades and their eyes start to wander. One of them spots two big fish floating in the water.
Over there! Something's in the water!
Two figures float among the trash in the river, spluttering and choking. One is clinging onto the other as they struggle to swim to shore.
What the devil is all that commotion?
Hey, wake up! Hey, stay with me! Can you hear me? Hello?
Kimberly pats her fallen companion's face. No response.
She's still breathing. Why won't she wake up?
Whew. What happened to the lass?
The little ship makes its way over, followed closely by the children and the doctor. Seeing a group of strangers approaching, Kimberly takes it up.
Miss, are you all right? Is there anything we can do?
Yes, I'm fine. The ship went down.
Blow me down. These waters are getting rougher by the day.
The little ship sways back and forth in its bottle, showing off its excellent condition.
And we drifted down the river until we reached the shore here.
A long way to go, only to end up in the favela.
I know she's traveling with her friends, but I don't know where they could be now. Everything happened so fast.
Shippy, what's going on? Are there people that need care? What's their condition?
Just one, alas. She's still breathing, but she looks like she's been keelholed for a bit too long.
Miss, please lay her down on her side.
Kimberly does as she is told.
What are you going to do to her?
Doctor kneels down, skillfully clearing the girl's mouth of any residue before starting chest compression.
Save her, if I can.
One push, another. The professional instinct, the duty of a doctor. An unexplainable impulse drives her to revive the drowning girl. The girl coughs up some water. The doctor continues.
Good, good. She'll make it. Please, make sure her airway's clear.
She coughs out more water, but she still lies there, unable to move.
Are you sure about that, Doc? The lass looks paler than a ghost. I think she's burning up.
Doctor touches her forehead. It's burning hot.
You're right. We'll need to take her back with us. I'll fix some medicine for her. Would you give me a hand, miss? Help her up on my back.
Kimberly obediently helps the blind doctor lift the fervently feverish girl onto her back.
Oh,
She's almost as light as a child.
Children run ahead, pulling aside the hanging clothes for them to pass.
I need to run some tests and see if it's just an ordinary fever, or if she has contracted something from the water. Don't worry. You're safe with us.
Doctor speaks to herself, or perhaps in research turns to the or perhaps in reassurance to the unconscious girl.
Where are we going? Wait up!
Home.
Kimberly catches at the doctor, only now realizing how far they've walked. She steps into the doctor's home. Yeah, it's gonna have to be the last one for today. Too much reading. Also, technically I was supposed to end like a minute ago, but... So what I'll probably do is like do a love request tomorrow, probably. What I'll probably do for a bit is have the first half of a stream be continuing the story of this game. Then the second half will be like Geometry Dash or something. Something that's a bit less reading. No, absolutely. Probably. So thank you all for watching. Yasumi.